I've been using the iPhone Air for about a month now, and honestly, this phone caught me off guard in a really good way. As an Android user, I didn't expect to like it this much. It's not meant to be the most powerful or the most feature-packed iPhone, but it's easily one of the most enjoyable iPhones Apple has ever released. It feels like a proper refresh, not just another spec bump. In a world where phones are getting thicker, heavier, and chunkier, the Air is going the opposite direction. It's sleek, light, and futuristic in a way that just makes you smile every time you pick it up. Let's kick it off with the design and build quality. The first time I picked this phone up, I really thought I was holding an Android phone. Even though it's a little thicker, it kind of felt like my OnePlus 13 in the hand. It's insanely thin and light. The iPhone Air is just 5.6 millimeters thick and weighs only 165 grams, making it one of the thinnest flagship phones ever. And what surprised me the most is that it doesn't feel fragile. The second I saw the keynote, I thought the same thing as probably most of you. Here comes Bingate number 2. Fortunately, Jerry Rig Everything proved this wrong very quickly, and you can feel confident that Apple did not downgrade durability for this new thin design. This has a polished titanium frame sandwiched between the new Ceramic Shield 2 glass panels, which are supposedly even more scratch resistant and have a new anti-reflective layer. You can tell Apple really wanted to nail the hand feel here, and they absolutely did. It just feels very refreshing. It's balanced perfectly, the weight distribution is right in the center, and despite being super thin, it never feels top heavy or awkward to hold. The titanium frame gives you a very reassuring rigidity, even though there is a bit of natural flex when you really try to twist it, but it never creaks or feels weak. It's IP68 rated too, so you still get proper water and dust resistance. One thing that kind of let me down though was the color options, especially with the new cosmic orange color on the Pro series that I'm a huge fan of. The ones here are mostly very subtle and pretty boring. You get light gold, cloud white, space black, which is the color I wish I would have gotten. I think this is the best color this year. I went with the sky blue color, however, it looks just like white to me. I was hoping for a little bit more blue. Still, this is one of the best feeling phones I've ever held. The best way I can describe it is it feels like I'm holding a concept phone from Apple that somehow made it to production. This video is sponsored by MagBack. MagBack's elite case for the iPhone 17 Air is easily one of the most versatile cases I've ever tested. The first thing you'll notice, ridiculously strong magnets that let you stick your phone to almost any magnetic surface in any orientation without worrying about it sliding or falling off. The protection, it's built like a tank, drop rated to 6 feet plus, reinforced bezels around the display and camera, and impact absorbing corners. There's a built-in kickstand for quick hands-free use, plus a finger loop that folds flat when you don't need it. And you can also get customizable color accents and the MagStick mount so you can attach your phone to any non-magnetic spot. If you're looking for a case that's tough, functional, and loaded with thoughtful extras, this one checks every box. Use the discount code 15legends and the link in the description and pinned comment down below to get 15% off your next purchase. And speaking of beauty, how about that incredible display? This screen is absolutely stunning. You're getting a 6.5-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED display with a 1 to 120Hz adaptive refresh rate, HDR10, Dolby Vision, and an impressive 3000 nits of peak brightness. That's actually brighter than last year's iPhone Pro Max and technically the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Apple also added something really interesting this year, a toggle to reduce PWM flicker, which helps people who get eye strain or headaches from OLED screens. It slightly affects color accuracy here and there at lower brightness, but for the comfort, it's a brilliant addition that I hope other companies start to copy. And the size itself hits that perfect middle ground. It's bigger than the iPhone 17 and smaller than the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It's that Goldilocks zone where it's easy to use one-handed but still very immersive for content and gaming. Whether you're watching HDR movies, taking photos, or just scrolling through YouTube comments, the Air's display feels very premium. The colors are punchy without being oversaturated, and the motion fluidity is classic Apple, smooth, natural, and consistent. And for a question many people probably have, let's talk about the battery life. When I watched the keynote and Apple announced the battery pack design specifically for the Air, I gotta admit, I did chuckle immediately and thought, oh great, they're selling me the battery separately. But this is a part that legit shocked me the most. On paper, the 3149 mAh battery sounds tiny, and I expected the worst, but Apple somehow made it work. With my typical daily use, taking phone calls, sending messages to family and friends, music streaming, a few hours of YouTube, light gaming, and a lot of camera use, I'm ending most days with around 15 to 20% left. I'm seeing around 7 hours of screen on time and sometimes 8 hours on lighter days, which is totally fine to me for a phone this slim. And that's really impressive. It also might be a trick, right? Well, Apple's new adaptive power mode in the iOS 26 also helps a ton. It automatically adjusts performance and background refresh based on how you use your phone. For example, it's going to boost performance when you're gaming or shooting 4K video, then quietly scale things back when you're scrolling through Reddit, for example, or just reading. In charging, it's decent but not really groundbreaking. You get 25 watts wired and 25 watts MagSafe, which gets you about 50% in 30 minutes. And a full charge is around an hour and a half for me. It's fine, but in 2025, I really wish Apple would just push 45 watts at least in their flagship models. And the new MagSafe battery pack designed specifically for the Air is really pretty cool, and it's thin, matches the phone perfectly, and gives you around 65% extra battery supposedly, which brings total video playback to about 40 hours. I don't have one to show you, but if it's really your thing, be ready to spend about $100. But long term, I'm still a little bit cautious about battery health. I could see this dropping to around 85 or 90% capacity after 2 years given the smaller size, but we're gonna have to see. So if you're someone who keeps phones for many years, you may want to just go for the iPhone 17 Pro Max for extra endurance. Now, on to performance. This phone uses the A19 Pro chip, but it is slightly downclocked compared to the Pro models. It has 5 GPU cores instead of 6. But I mean, it is still an iPhone, so it is fast. iOS 26 feels buttery smooth, multitasking is very snappy, and animations are fluid. Apps open instantly, and thanks to the 12 gigabytes of RAM that we have on the Air, it handles background processes better than any other non-Pro iPhone before. When it comes to the heat, you can feel warmth near the top when pushing the phone really hard, like during extended 4K recording or long gaming sessions, but it never gets uncomfortable. Apple cleverly localized all the heat generating components in that top plateau, which keeps your hands from getting sweaty during gaming or video playback. It will throttle a little bit faster than the iPhone 17 Pro Max, but it's still perfectly fine for everyday use, even for heavier users. As for connectivity, you're getting Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, but yes, it is eSIM only worldwide, which can be annoying if you travel or swap your SIMs often. Next up, audio. This is probably the biggest compromise. There's only one speaker and it's in the earpiece. There is no bottom firing stereo setup like every other iPhone. The single speaker sounds fine for casual use, but if you want to watch a lot of content or play games, you'll definitely miss that stereo separation. It's not bad, but it's really not what I expected for about $1,000. Now, let's talk about the cameras. I mean, the camera. There's only one lens on the back, a 48 megapixel main camera, essentially the same one found on the iPhone 17. It's missing the ultra-wide and the telephoto, which might sound like a deal breaker, but honestly, Apple's computational photography does a lot of heavy lifting here. Daylight photos are crisp, well exposed, and color balanced, and with that signature Apple look. The 2x crop from the main sensor looks great. It's closer to optical quality than I actually initially expected. At night, the Air still performs well. The new image pipeline and sensor handle tricky lighting even better with improved noise control and dynamic range. It's not quite as good as the Pros or the Pixel 10 Pro XL, for example, in low light, but it did a much better job than I expected. And for the video, as always, it is top tier because it's an iPhone. The Air can shoot 4K 60 FPS, HDR with excellent stabilization. Even as an Android user, I must admit that Apple still leads in mobile video. It's undeniable. The front camera is where the Air truly shines though. It's a completely new 18 megapixel sensor with optical image stabilization and phase detection autofocus. It has a wider 20mm field of view and much better low light performance. I don't vlog, but if you do, or if you're anyone who lives all their lives on FaceTime, this is going to be a very cool feature for you. There's also a new dual capture mode that records from both the front and rear cameras simultaneously, and it really is a cool feature, but hasn't Samsung had this feature since like the Galaxy S4? Anyways, moving on to software. This is where things get really interesting. iOS 26 brings a brand new design language called Apple Liquid Glass that I guess everyone knows about by now. It's glossy, fluid, and way more customizable than before. You can finally change icon layouts, adjust control center sections, and even theme your widgets. It feels like Apple's trying to meet Android halfway, or in some ways even beating it in some areas. Animations are smoother, the camera app is redesigned for faster access to resolution and frame rate toggles, and built-in apps like Safari, Maps, and Messages are just smarter. And visual intelligence, which finally gives me another reason other than a quick camera button to use the camera control button, is basically Apple's version of Circle to Search, letting you highlight anything on screen and ask Siri about it. It's not as quick as Google's approach, but the results are often better formatted and supposedly more privacy conscious. What's also cool is that Apple's on-device AI features like photo categorization, background removal, and context summaries runs very smoothly thanks to that extra RAM. It's not as flashy as the Samsung Galaxy or Pixel AI suite, but it's subtle, polished, and very Apple. So do I recommend that you go out and buy the iPhone Air after 1 month of use? I mean, yes, but you have to recognize the potential deal breakers. Because let's face it, for Apple to get this phone so thin, they absolutely had to make some compromises. If you want the most premium feeling iPhone and the one that feels most futuristic, thin, light, and perfectly balanced, the Air is in a league of its own, and just go buy it already. The display is fantastic, the performance is great, the selfie camera is best in class, and the battery life is surprisingly good given the size. But if you want the best camera versatility, better speakers, faster charging, or more endurance, you're better off going with the iPhone 17 or even the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. Those are the smarter buys all around in my personal opinion, but the Air is the emotional one because it's the iPhone that makes you fall back in love with holding an iPhone again. If this video helped you, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe for more, and also tap that new hype feature to help this reach new viewers like you, and I will see all of you next time.